Since mid-2007, Uncharted has brought us around the world as Nathan Drake fights, climbs, and leaps his way across the various continents he explores. The recent release of Uncharted 4, Thief's End, takes full advantage of its engine, bringing the players to familiar forests, plains, jungles, and seas while always finding a way to keep away that been there, done that fatigue you might feel after 4 games.
Whoa. Magnificent. Don't see a treasure, though.
Guys? Coming!
So for those of you who don't know, Uncharted is a series that is known for its cinema-like gameplay and surrealistic graphics. The design elements of constantly knowing what to do without prompts appearing is one of the series' most conclusive draws. So let's take a look at just a few of the various locations you will explore within Uncharted 4. Warning, this video is going to go over some early game set pieces and environments. I'll try to keep the story as ambiguous as possible. After the initial prologue, the game dumps the player into a grimy, worn-down jail in Panama where the protagonist, Nathan Drake, is fighting with a fellow inmate. Due to this fighting, Nathan is taken down to a deeper part of the jail, the sewers. The color palette of constant dull grays and blues paint the buildings. The rust covers the prison, giving a player a sense of isolation and untouched wonder. The overall theme of this area is akin to a Silent Hill game, in fact, with the only thing separating them being different shades of blue and small patches of grass that grow along the prison walls. Minor details like this, along with the atmospheric soundtrack, are small things that keep the area feeling alive. The constant darkness of the area and shades of gray don't exactly awe the player, but they still show development time and, more importantly, contrast the beauty that will unfold before you in the rest of the game. Light gleams through the drainage covers on the ceiling and dust floats about the sewers of the jail, showing off both marvelous lighting and particle effects in the appropriate locations. But in just minutes, the player is brought to the outside perimeter of the prison. The ancient towers, covered in vines and bordered with many types of foliage, are the first thing the player gets to see. The various shades of green, layered under many exotic colors, pleases the eye and sets the tone for the colorful landscapes that the rest of the game provides. Advancing further along the ocean is a never-ending dense fog that covers the entirety of the sea. While climbing the tower, the camera pans out, begging the player to stop and take a look at the scenery, with even Nathan commenting on how he wishes his brother could see the environment for himself.
Oh man, Sam is missing out.
When you finally enter the tower, you drop down into an old, untouched room. Vines climb in through the windows and light shines through small holes in the building. The dust and fog shining in the light becomes even denser, creating a particle effect similar to that of The Last of Us, and this is all just the first area of the game. Later in the game, Nathan finds himself on the cliffs of Scotland. This is where you will see one of Uncharted 4's best visual tricks, having a very linear area appear as a large visceral sandbox. Large trees cover the view of your destination, leaving you questioning what could be behind there. You're free to scour the landscape, which is shared by wild grass and light snow, as well as various wildlife. There is a very specific way to climb down, but this isn't necessarily a bad thing. Looking for what singular way to progress leads the player to experience more of the environment surrounding them. It also allows Nathan and the supporting cast to have long but intriguing dialogue sequences.
It's better than bungee jumping.
Have you ever been bungee jumping?
No, but I'm sure this is better.
Thus making the climbing puzzles, which you will do a lot of, more entertaining. Characters normally don't repeat old dialogue, and there's enough of it in the game that even when you're stuck and can't find where you're supposed to go, Victor Sullivan might just have a story for you.
So, Victor, how is it that you know King's Bay so well, huh?
Well, first time out here was for a swap. Stolen diamonds. Of course, deal went bad and I got arrested. Ended up bribing the police chief.
After a bit of climbing, the area starts to become even more uneven and mountainous with lots of loose gravel that causes you to lose your grip. Moving in and out of damp, crumbling caverns, Nathan eventually discovers a crypt filled with various religious architecture. As always, all of this goes bad as the crypt starts to crumble, leading to a few-second long shot involving a deathly fog and sharp rocks that leaves both the player and Nathan terrified of what will happen if he falls.
Get out of there, I'll cover you! On it!
When Nathan and friends head to Madagascar, the scene opens up with several of the characters in a rental car observing the scenery. The plains covering the area stretch out endlessly into the rocky background. The most impressive part of Madagascar is the different ways that they utilize water in the environment. You have your straightforward waterfalls and streams of unclean water sharing two different textures and magnificent lighting, but when you come across shallow puddles of mud and sediment mixed with water, it changes to a slick and fluorescent looking texture. When the sun reflects off the water, the colors in the reflection change just as they would if you were to look at one in the real world. I never thought there'd be so much beauty in getting my vehicle stuck in a muddy slope.
Alright, ready?
Give it a shot.
Here we go. Steady. Steady. See, Sully? Winch. Totally worth it.
We cleared a hill. It hasn't exactly paid for itself.
The area is very large and feels as if you can go anywhere, and you actually can in a way. The area is very open and you can drive wherever you want without the game pressuring you to move on. You can find hidden climbable cliffs up on the tops of seemingly insignificant hills, and caves behind normal looking waterfalls that allow you to hear interesting dialogue as well as find a cool few treasures. This feeling of exposition keeps you intrigued and rewards you for exploring the landscape that the developers of the game put so much time and effort into. Uncharted doesn't only take place in unpopulated landscapes, however. There are sections in which Nathan enters very busy markets. Exotic fruits and produce line the sheet metal market stalls, and each one of the stalls has something unique. You can see that the things that the natives sell are special and aren't copied and pasted from stall to stall. Each one of the NPCs is attending to their own jobs and are actively shopping.
Hey there, little guy. How you doing? Hey, you like that, huh?
Nate, tower.
Sully, come on, it's a lemur. Come on, come say hi.
That's all right.
So cute.
Later in this level, you are climbing a large clock tower. The clock tower is a white and golden color palette that gives you a sense that this is your first big lead in your hunt for treasure. Some of the cogs in the tower turn rhythmically and several of them are constant. Rusty metal pendulums and wooden beams take up space in the rooms, making every jump feel like it could be your last. To give the player a break, you can climb outside of the clock tower for an instant change of scenery as to what could be the best shot in the game. With most series, after a few installments, you run out of interesting areas to explore and see assets being reused over and over again. Uncharted 4 ups the level of detail in the color spectrum of familiar places and makes them feel new and interesting again. With the characters commenting and interacting with the gorgeous environments that the game places you in, you find yourself immersed in this world. To the point that it's sometimes difficult to believe that such amazing looking places really exist. And that environmental immersion is easily one of Uncharted 4's strongest points.